Hello, welcome back to Cardboard Creeper Garage. I'm John, and today I'm actually in our overflow, our storage barn here. There's the S10 and the other project trucks are in the main garage. And I am going to start working on the 63 again, since it's been all winter cooped up. I'd really like to get a lot of the dash stuff done. We had no knobs, no controls, no glove box components, no nothing. So the only part of the glove box I had was the door. So over the winter I made some purchases. The wiper motor I got off of Rock Auto on clearance. Yay, clearance shelves. And then all the other stuff I chose to get off of LMC. I know sometimes they're not the cheapest, but like I said, I had no parts whatsoever for any of this. So I really like their catalogs with their diagrams. You can see all the parts you need and get them. So we have all the parts for the wipers. I was actually given the inside light, the dome light there for my Christmas present. All the parts for the glove box, including all the different nuts and bolts and connectors and bushings and everything. I got the controls for the vents, left and right control for the vents. I got a cigarette lighter from them, so that way all the knobs match. Since I'm gonna have to get all the new knobs in anyway, I kind of wanted them all to matchy. And then the knob for the lights. Well, I'm gonna be working out here, and since I'm not gonna need any type of air tools or anything, I figured I might as well be out here. Okay, everybody. So the first thing I have done is put in the light switch. Now, don't forget, when you put it in, there's that button up in here on the bottom of your switch that you gotta push in, and it can be a little bit of a pain on the of your tips of your fingers trying to get that sucker pushed in far enough for that to slide in. But there it is, the light switch, and everything is now in place. One down, several to go. Alright, so like I said, the light switch is now done. I'm going to work on putting in the cigarette lighter. Set up my wiring harness. It's this creamy grayish color wire. That's labeled lighter. So we're just gonna put the connectors on, slide the sucker in. Alright, cigarette lighter is in. With your cigarette lighter, it just depends on make and model of your thing. The one I got from LMC, the body of it, the lighter actually slides into. I had no earthly clue how it worked. So I had this one, I had an aftermarket one, but I really wanted to keep these nice matchy pulls and everything, so Frankenstein them together, and it works and looks nice. The only thing I have left to do is the grounding of it. The ground wire on, I just gotta have to grab it to the truck. One more knob down.
Many months later.
Gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the 63 GMC that has been sitting back in the garage, in the other garage, for a while, from getting pushed back from other projects. So, as stated before, we were putting fuel injection on this thing, and we have a sniper kit that has been sitting in the house for months, going on a year now, probably.
I actually got this kit from Holley when the Sniper 2s came out because these got heavily discounted, and I was going to use this kit on my other crew cab project, but I don't have the engine built for it yet, so I decided to donate this to John's GMC. So, because he wants fuel injection on this, so since it's just sitting around collecting dust, we figured why not. So we've never done one of these before. It seems pretty straightforward. So we're gonna get into it.
Okay, the O2 sensor is installed in our pre-welded O2 bung. Now I have the gasket. I'm upside down. I have the gasket slapped on the intake after cleaning it because we had some tape on here to get rid of the adhesive, and some studs that were left over from the S10 from our spacer job. So now you can put on the throttle body.
Oh, that's nasty.
Okay, Sniper's bolted down in a crisscross pattern to 115 foot-pounds. Nope.
Psych. Just snug.
Yep. Okay, the coolant temperature sensor is in back here at the back of this head, because since these are aftermarket heads, they actually have holes on both, and this was just plugged. Now, we could have did it on the intake, but we really don't have anywhere except there, but the only problem with that is the hose is here, and it would be very difficult to wedge crap on top. And then there's another plugged spot underneath the alternator bracket that would have worked, but without some modification that won't work. And then this one's for the electric fan controller. So it's a little win, but it's a win.
Alright, so some of the sensors and stuff have been installed, and it's all plug and play on those things. But then you have this harness that you need to go through and connect these wires to certain different things. Now, some of this stuff is for electric fans, which this does have electric fan, but it already has a controller already wired into it. The other stuff is like AC, which this truck does not have AC. So basically we went through this 10-pin connector, which is only 8 wires, as it says right here. And the only one that we're going to need is this one for the aftermarket tack. Now you're going to say, well, why can't you just run that off the distributor? Well, according to the Holley wiring, this wiring thing for the fuel pump or whatever, it needs a tack signal, so it's going to go into the distributor, and then we'll just use this brown wire to go into the aftermarket tack that's in the dash. So with that being said, we trimmed off a bunch of these wires because we don't need them, and later down the road, if we do, we can just extend them from this point. So I'm going to put electrical tape on each end of them, tape them up so they're nice and hidden, and then we'll figure out where we need to run this one.
So if Johnny wants more accessories, he can add his accessories. And
like a tiara or a gold chain?
Yes. So if this information here is relevant to you, you may pause this video.
Relevant?
Relevant. Relevant. Okay, so there is the accessory connector, is what I'm going to call it, for the Holley Sniper. Running up with these wires across here, down to right there, where it intersects with the original tack wire. So now I have the tack signal from the actual coil to go into the main harness for the Sniper. So what feels like 14 hours later, we have a throttle rod and a kickdown cable for the Turbo 350. It's hooked up. What took so long was trying to modify the cable bracket, because before it was way back here, so we had to cut it in half, move it forward, various self-tappers, and a bolt later. It's secured enough. So the kickdown will work, and we have throttle. Okay, a little bit of stud cutting later. Leftover S10 air cleaner parts are installed. So what do you idiots have going on?
We are trying to finish up the fuel system. We still gotta connect the dots up at the engine, but feed line is ran. Pay attention to the mess. See, the vent is done.
Cool.
This is a little adapter we got to use for the return side of things.
Cool.
But right now we're going to go up and start anchoring them down with these rubber snipey things. And get everything buttoned up so we can run the rubber from the end of that line up to here because we ran out of metal line. That's alright. And,
Cool. You know it's getting close when the battery's on the charger.
but yeah, that's what we're doing. So
Cool.
we'll get back to you soon.
And all the wiring completely is done, actually. Because we ran the pump wire and that was the last piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
So,
And yes, we know you're not supposed to put the pump higher than the tank, but we have no alternative because it feeds from the top of the tank. The tank sits here.
There's
where
no
else
choice.
are you gonna put it?
you really don't have a choice.
I've read on forums that it'll still work. I mean, if a clicky clacky will pull fuel, why wouldn't that thing pull fuel?
That thing's heavy.
So anyway, if it works, great. If not, we'll have to figure something else out for an intake pump. But it came with the kit, so we're gonna use it.
Yep.
Sorry, Holly.
So we're moving back into the cab area. We have most of the wiring laid out. I just have to tidy everything up. And we're looking now at the shifter. I want to do something a little bit special, a little bit different with it. This originally was a 4-wheel drive truck, and I had the shifter to shift it in and out of 4-wheel drive was still with it. So I want to use this and incorporate this somehow into the shifter, into my floor shifter. So after the we'll go and show you how we're going to figure out how to attach this and make this work to make it a little bit interesting and something a little bit different.
Unique.
Yes.
So let's get that chomping.
Stand by.
All right, so little quick update. So what this is it's a B&M Megashifer we got off eBay for, I don't even know, probably 80 bucks or something, but it works just fine. Knowing that we're going to actually build a console in there with cup holders and everything else. So as far as hacking it apart, ain't no big deal. The shifter works phenomenal. However, using this now as this handle, then the Megashifters, they have the T that locks out like park, reverse, and all that stuff. So what I did is the original rod that was part of this linkage, Ethan and I drilled a hole right there, and then this rod that was part of the original assembly is going to drop down in there, and if you turn it sideways, whichever way it is, like, I don't remember how it goes in here, anyhow, yeah, like that. So once this is attached here, then we'll measure for this rod, which is just a little clip that goes under here that pulls this up with a lock, and then the spring suckers back in here, and boom, that'll pull that up to unlock the shifter.
Sounds good, doesn't work.
So just an update, but so far everything's going fantastical.
My applause, gentlemen. The rubber fuel lines are ran, the metal fuel lines from the firewall over to the thing, and now whenever they spring a leak, they will drip on the header and for sure catch the whole truck on fire.
It'll be glorious!
It'll be the most glorious fire I've ever seen. So that means that all the fuel system and all the wiring's crap is done. So now we just gotta dump gas in it, throw a battery at it, and do some stuff on the digital display thing.
We have to program some crap.
Right, that's what I said. And see what it does and stuff.
It'll run her along. Well, the setup wizard was not wizarding. So I did some research, and since I've had this thing for a few years, thought maybe if I come in and update the SD card on Holley's website, that maybe that would yield some results. And then if it doesn't, then I guess I'm gonna have to call Holley and find out what the hell is wrong with it.
I know what's wrong with it. And it got no gas in it.
Oh, it's got gas in it.
Not according to the fuel gauge.
Yeah, well, I didn't wire that up, so.
3 days later.
Alright, kids, so handle's installed, and I'm trying to work on this reverse lockout lever. Now, I kind of had it working pretty good until there was a hole in this piece right here that snapped off. Went in the bottom there that I had the rod going down through. I could weld that piece back on there. However, the throw of this handle needs to be greater than it was. So what I'm going to end up doing, I think, is drilling a hole in the front here so whenever this articulates, it'll have a greater throw than it did whenever it was inside here. And to do that, since that rod there is no longer going to be long enough, I am sacrificing a hot dog cooker that's been laying on a shelf, well, forever.
Enough time to make
and plus it's already chrome, and being that it's made like this, I'm gonna get like 2 shots at this once I cut it all apart. So let's see how this one goes.
So after a little bit of spacing to shift this up higher, the cable is connected to the shifter and it is connected down to the transmission. So grab a hold of this, click out of reverse, and click down in the neutral, and then down in the drive, and then that drops down all the way. Second, first, can't go back any further, as it's supposed to be. Second, drive, neutral, guess I can't do that. Drive, and then all the way back up in the park. So, cool, huh? And then here's the cable running down over top of the transmission, over top of the tail shaft, and coming forward to the bracket on the tranny pan with the jam nuts on the cable to hold it in place. And then up here is your barrel thing. You put a cutter key on the end. It takes a little bit of adjusting, but honestly it doesn't take that long.
Alright kids, so we're going to conclude this video. We're going to call this part 1 because it is going to be continued. However, after we got everything all wired up and plumbed in and whatnot, as soon as we applied power to the truck, it starts popping fuses. We retraced wires, went over everything. The only time it pops a fuse is when the 7-pole is connected into the Sniper. If you unplug it, it does not pop any fuses, which pretty much tells us that there's some kind of a short inside the Sniper. So, the problem with that is, I bought this back in 2023, and I haven't talked to Holley yet, but I'm pretty sure these are a year warranty, and whether or not they're gonna fix it on their dime or not, probably not, but I'll find out. So, since this isn't my truck, John decided to do the wrong thing, and
I went with Aces.
So part 2 of this video is going to be us installing this to see if it works, right?
Yep.
Alright, cool. Alright, so if you are still here in this video, the last thing I said was I wasn't sure if Holley was going to stand behind the Sniper or not. Well, it's been a few days, and I did contact Holley at the beginning of this week. Talked to a very nice gentleman. I'm not going to reveal his name, but they are going to honor my throttle body unit. They had me send it back to them. They are going to put a new computer on it. They're going to update the firmware because it's so old and send it back. They said it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks, so it should be good to go. So in the meantime, we're going to start hooking up this Aces thing. So with that being said, this will be the actual end of part 1 of this video. But the other thing I want to say is Duct Tape Drags 2025, October 17th and 18th, is that correct? In Tucson. Hope to see you all there. We're going to be there. Only missed 1 year since it all started. So if you see us, say hi. We're going to have some swag to give out, some koozies, stickers, whatever. So see you in Tucson.
I'm out of here.